Welcome to a normal person's guide to using AI. So, my mom keeps asking me, who's this Owl guy I keep hearing about on Facebook? I was like, Owl? Who the heck is Owl? So, I said, finally, okay, just show me. Turns out it wasn't Owl, it was AI. Yes, even in 2026 in English, the uppercase I still looks like a lowercase l. We still can't figure that out? Look, if you know, you know, robots are the real next big thing. But AI is the next big thing that's already here. As a matter of fact, it's everywhere today. Self-driving cars that learn how to avoid obstacles. How about new pop stars with millions of Spotify streams who don't even exist in the real world? Or those fake Facebook pictures and TikTok videos that go viral, but they look incredibly real, even though they're not. As a matter of fact, these smart glasses can instantly tell me anything I'm looking at. Hey Meta, what am I looking at? Oh my God. Anyway, part of this video is sponsored by VRrock.com, who put prescription lenses in these Meta sunglasses. VRrock.com, more information in the comments below. But what most people don't realize is you don't have to be a genius to use AI. And a lot of it is still completely free. I'm Chuck Fresh. I am not a genius, but I use AI daily. And I don't hide that fact. It's no longer shameful. And now a lot of people are asking me, how do we get into this AI thing? I mean, how do we use it? Is it useful? Is it dangerous? Is it expensive? All very good questions. I'm going to explain everything you need to know about AI for the average person in this short video. This is historical because this will be my last educational video ever, because sadly, even with AI's help, these things take forever to write and produce, and no one ever watches them. So no reward, no fun. Fortunately for all of us, AI is exceptional at creating educational videos. I'm already working on an AI version of me, so I'll be around, but it won't be me. You get it. I mean, when you think about it, AI, or artificial intelligence, is basically the collective stream of all human knowledge that has ever existed. Well, publicly available anyway, combined into one huge or multiple huge databases that are called an LLM, a large language model. And they're trained to deliver whatever you ask it for based on all that knowledge and also some clever computer thinking. But first, some basics. What is a large language model? This is for trivia night. You might need to know this. Large refers to the massive amount of data they are trained on and the huge number of parameters in its neural network. That's what it uses to assemble all the stuff and let it work together. They contain, with some having hundreds of billions of entries. Language. This indicates their ability to process and generate human language, but also the ability to understand and create other types of content that we can understand in our language. And finally, model of a large language model. This refers to the underlying AI system, which is basically a complex neural network. I mean, it's trying to think, with many interconnected layers that process all those billions of bits of information. Basically, and this is oversimplified obviously, AI is really a really smart Google search, but with the ability to do or create something with those search results. We talked about all the different types of AI in a previous video, so if you're interested in learning more about AI in its whole, there's that. You can check that out. Just off the top of my head, you can have an AI compile and read you news headlines, articles, or even, I don't know, lawsuits about any particular topic you could imagine from the past 50 years. It would combine all that stuff together in seconds. Maybe you could have AI generate 100 songs you never heard before in the vein of your favorite artist or genre. Or you could have AI analyze your sales reports or accounting ledgers 1,000 different ways to Sunday, maybe showing you something you never thought of before. Or even, as several students have already done, you could compile a bibliography of texts needed to write that school paper, and then even have it write the first draft, or maybe the final draft, and all that with perfect grammar and spelling in the style or mood of your choice. Whoops, I think I just incriminated my kids. Anywho, the point is, the possibilities are virtually endless. Here is a practical extended look at how you can actually use generative AI tools effectively today in their current form, from choosing the right chatbot or provider to navigating the really weird world of vibe coding. And that's covered towards the end of this video, and there's chapters and timestamps in the comments below, so you know exactly what you want if you don't want to hear me droning on about the basics. But otherwise, stick with me. This is really interesting. Now look, AI is no longer taboo. You can use it without being chastised. The world is already way past the initial shockwave of generative AI's arrival. We know it can write sonnets in seconds, and it can pass bar exams. But now we're in the messy middle phase, where we're figuring out how to actually integrate all these tools into our daily workflow without creating more work or having our results sound like a soulless robot. I'm not going to lie, the current state of AI is frequently glitchy and really entirely dependent on the user, your skill. It's not a magic do my job for me button yet. But it is, perhaps, the most sophisticated power tool ever invented for knowledge, work, and creativity. What can you do with AI so far? Well, check this out.
Hi, my name is Kaylin Vox. Thank you for listening to my music.
Honey, my clothes aren't drying right. Woo!
What? Listen, you can have fires if you don't.
If USA is number one, why did they invent USB?
That was all AI. Hard to believe, right? As a matter of fact, I used Google's Gemini AI to generate the first draft of this script, and it came out pretty darn good. So here's an extended guide on the best ways to navigate the current AI landscape. This video is also sponsored in part by Aulia, an eyeglass company that made these amazing prescription sunglasses. Aulia, information in the comments below. 1. The battle of the bots. The most common question is, which AI platform should I use? And the frustrating answer is, well, it really depends entirely what you want to do today. The landscape is shifting like daily. But here's the current breakdown of the 4 major players in AI. ChatGPT, made by OpenAI, the versatile standard. So if you need a Swiss Army knife of AI, this is it. ChatGPT is incredibly capable across logic, creative writing, and coding. Its biggest strength is its ecosystem, the ability to create custom GPTs. That's its data analysis capabilities. And its multimodal features like seeing, hearing, speaking. They're really currently unmatched in integration. Oh, and for trivia night, you might want to know this, might take notes. AI is amazing at generating brilliant trivia challenges. I've got a guy down here that uses ChatGPT for all his trivia. And speaking of a trivia question, what's the GPT in ChatGPT stand for? It stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. Here's a quick breakdown of each component. You don't need to know this, but it's kind of interesting. Generative. This indicates that the model can generate text based on the input it receives. Pre-trained. The model is initially trained on those LLMs, a large data set, like billions of bits of data, before being fine-tuned for specific tasks or interactions. This pre-training phase helps it to understand language patterns and grammar and facts and various contexts. And the transformer part, this refers to the underlying architecture, I guess, of the model, which is particularly effective in processing and generating natural language like you and I speak. Microsoft Copilot is essentially OpenAI's ChatGPT technology wrapped in a Microsoft blanket. So it's kind of the same thing. Its greatest utility is for its corporate users because it's embedded into the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. So think Teams, Outlook, Word, Excel, and developers using GitHub. And then there's Claude, which is made by Anthropic. They call this the writer's muse. So a lot of writers, marketers, and academics prefer Claude. Claude often feels a little less robotic out of the box. It tends to have, I guess, a more nuanced grasp of tone and style. And critically, it has this massive context window, meaning you can paste entire books into it and then ask it to analyze them. If ChatGPT is the chaotic brainstormer, then Claude is more of a thoughtful editor. So as a test, I had Claude write a haiku about this video.
Machines write our words. M-dashes betray the ghost. Edit makes it yours.
Google Gemini's strength lies in its potential connection to your Google life. So if you live in Docs, Sheets, and Gmail, Gemini, especially the advanced version, is increasingly integrated into that workflow. It's also very strong in multimodal tasks like analyzing video or images that you upload to it. Built by the XAI team, that's Elon Musk's crew, Grok, never heard of that, right? Stands out for having basically zero content filters, a dry or sarcastic sense of humor, and a maximum truth-seeking philosophy. It is surprisingly strong at reasoning, coding, and real-time info via its deep X or Twitter integration. If the other AIs feel like polite customer service reps, Grok is like that other friend who will roast you but always has your back at the same time. And Facebook, Meta, who makes these glasses, has a fully native AI called Meta AI, powered entirely by Meta's in-house Llama models, whatever that is. This conversational chatbot is built directly into the Facebook app, Messenger, Instagram, and also WhatsApp, handling things like questions and recommendations and image generation. As a matter of fact, it's the engine that drives these glasses to tell me what I'm looking at. And beyond the chatbot, Meta's own AI also drives content recommendations, some moderation on its platform, translations, and personalized ads throughout its platform, making it one of the most deeply integrated proprietary AI systems among all major social networks. So I get the question, is AI still free? Well, as of right now, on the day we made this video, most AI can be accessed and used for free, but with a limit on how many requests or how many specific things you can do in a 24-hour period. There is an option to upgrade almost all of these, I think all of them, with less restrictions, and that'll give you the latest models and full capabilities. And that ability usually costs in the neighborhood of $20 a month per service. Personally, I'm using Google's paid AI. They also give me a bunch of Google perks in addition to the extended AI capabilities, including 2 terabytes of cloud storage. So the verdict, which one is the best? Specifically, I'd have to tell you, don't marry any one platform. Heck, use them all while you can. Use ChatGPT for complex logic and varied tasks. Use Claude for drafting long-form content or analyzing massive documents. Use Gemini if you need real-time web access and Google integration. Combine them all, use them together. Now here is a crucial warning. You have to beware of the wrapper apps. There's a massive industry that has sprung up. You've probably seen ads for them, with ads titled like AI writing assistants or specialized AI tools on the App Store or via shady Facebook ads. But you need to be warned that 95% of those are just wrappers, like a candy wrapper, a candy bar wrapper. They're third-party interfaces, probably just taking your prompts and pumping them into some older version of OpenAI's API and charging you a premium for it. Not only are you getting inferior results because you don't have access to the latest GPTs, but you're also handing your data to an unknown middleman, and who knows what they're doing with that. Probably overseas somewhere. So always try to use the source AI first. That's OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, Grok. Go to the official websites. And only pay for third-party tools that add significant value through unique workflows or specialized proprietary data. And read the reviews to make sure they're legit.
It's all about that prompt.
If AI is an engine, the prompt would be the fuel. The quality of your output is directly proportional to the quality of your input. So we have to do something called prompt engineering. It sounds difficult, genius level, and technical, but it's mostly about clear written communication on your part. The prompt is literally everything in getting the exact AI responses that you want. So think of AI like a socially awkward genius intern, one of those people who avoids all eye contact, who is extremely literal, doesn't know the difference between black and white, no gray, has no common sense unless you spell the task out, but then will happily do the wrong thing perfectly if you don't guide it. Without knowing, doesn't know any better. Think of it like a child. So here's why that prompt, which you type into the AI, is 90 to 95% of the battle. Number one, it sets the goal. A vague prompt like telling Suno, make a song, might give you some generic pop that you hate. You don't want it.
I like to use AI, my oh my, apple pie, wear a tie. Wah!
But a precise prompt with genre tags, vocal style, tempo, things like mood, structure, maybe even effects, may give you that exact dreamy, ethereal female mumble lo-fi track that you're looking for, sometimes even on the first try.
Chuck Fresh's video about AI is so incredibly cool. If you think you can't use AI right now, you must be a daft fool.
Number two, your prompt acts as guardrails. Without clear instructions, the AI just fills in the blanks itself with default stuff, usually with whatever is most common in its training data, which is often a little too bland or a little too safe. So you tell it exactly what you want, tell it the tone, the length, the perspective, give it examples and constraints, and it stops guessing and gives you more accurate responses. 3, it teaches the AI how to think about your request. That's what your prompt does. Techniques like think step by step. You are a world-class this, or use this structure, or avoid this thing. All these prompt words actually change the internal reasoning path that your AI model takes. So a better path results in dramatically better output. Number 4, your prompt will override default tendencies. So again, most AIs are tuned to be polite, balanced, or even corporate. So if you want sarcastic, brutal, concise, poetic, maximally truthful, or even politically incorrect answers like Grok gives you by default, you have to force that personality in the prompt. You tell it exactly what you want. If you can master prompting, you've effectively upgraded from just using AI to directing a super intelligent team that never sleeps. So the bottom line, to get more useful AI results, you need to really structure your prompts the best you can. Here are the most powerful, battle-tested prompting techniques that will instantly upgrade any AI output. Number 1, think role-playing. A weak prompt might be, write a product description for headphones. Oh, boring. Now, a strong alternative would be, you're a world-class copywriter for Bose or Sony. Write a seductive, benefit-driven product description for these premium noise-canceling headphones aimed at people who are frequent flyers. Use sensory language and social proof in your response. See the difference? Now you're telling it how to think. Number 2, chain of thought, where you prompt the AI how to think about its response. A weak prompt might be, what's 17 times 24? Whatever, it's going to give you an answer. But a strong prompt, solve 17 times 24 step by step and explain your reasoning as you go. This forces accurate math instead of hallucinated answers, and we'll talk about hallucinated answers later in this video. Number 3, something called few-shot prompting. This is essentially where you give examples of related or unrelated responses you're looking for to set the tone and the quality of the response that you want. Like a weak prompt might be, write a funny complaint about slow Wi-Fi. But a strong few-shot prompt might be something like, my Wi-Fi is so slow, turtles are sending me postcards saying, wish you were here eventually. Or another example you could feed into your AI prompt. My Wi-Fi is so slow, I just saw a loading bar grow a beard. All right, maybe we're exaggerating a little bit, but now you're kind of leading it to what you want on the back end. Or how about this example? My Wi-Fi is so slow, the buffering symbol filed for unemployment. And then you tell it, now write a funny complaint about slow pizza delivery in the same exact style, kind of leading it to the answer that you want. The model now sees the exact pattern you're looking for, exaggeration, absurd imagery, and it copies it perfectly. Or you can turn this weak prompt, explain quantum physics to a 5-year-old, into a strong few-shot prompt like, how do airplanes stay in the sky? Imagine the plane has a giant, invisible hand made of air that gently pushes it up every time it tries to fall. And the faster it runs, the stronger the hand hugs it. Or this example. Question, why is the sky blue? Answer, sunlight is made of all the colors. Blue is the smallest, bounciest color, so it bumps into air molecules and scatters everywhere like tiny ping pong balls. The other colors are too lazy and they just keep going straight. And then you continue telling the prompt, all right, now explain how a blockchain works to a 5-year-old. Or another example, how about generating product names? This is great for entrepreneurs. A weak prompt might be, come up with names for a coffee brand. But a strong few-shot prompt might say, example 1, a coffee that wakes you up instantly called Lightning Latte. Or maybe another one, example 2, a coffee for programmers called Syntax and Sip. Or example 3, a coffee that tastes like childhood mornings, nostalgia brew. And then you continue feeding it more prompts. Example 4, a coffee for people who hate mornings, regret roasters. And then you continue with your prompt. Now come up with 3 names for a plant-based energy drink that tastes like fruit candy. The magic of few-shot prompting is the more examples you give and the more consistent the style, the better the AI can copy the exact vibe you want. Experts say 2 to 4 examples is usually the sweet spot for most people. That's enough to get the AI to catch on. Number 4, specify the format of what you want exactly. Now, a weak prompt might be, give me a list of tips. AI's like, huh? A strong prompt might be, respond in a numbered list. Each item must be 1 sentence. Start with a bolded action verb and be under 15 words. It knows exactly what you're looking for. See what we're doing here? Number 5, the temperature/style override. You might tell it, answer like a sarcastic New York comedian. Or you could say, respond like a 19th century British gentleman. Continue, be brutally honest, no sugarcoating. Number 6, constrain the length or scope. You might get too much. You might not want all that stuff. So you could say something like, explain quantum computing in 50 words or fewer, as if told to a curious 12-year-old. Number 7, the self-critique loop. You could tell your prompt, first, write the answer, then critique it as a harsh editor and rewrite a better version. Number 8, in the same vein, how about a flipped perspective? You could tell your prompt, argue against your own default position on universal basic income as convincingly as possible. And number 9, the meta prompt. This is where you essentially prompt the prompt. You have AI to come up with a prompt for you. You enter your human prompt that you were going to use, and then you ask AI to make the prompt better. Like, improve this weak prompt to get 10 times better results from Claude, Grok, ChatGPT, Gemini. And then you paste your original prompt in there. and it'll come up with something even better. And then you'll use that prompt to get what you're really looking for. Pro tip, combine 3 or 4 of these methods together, and your quality of your output will jump from 6 out of 10 to 9.5 out of 10 almost every time. Now, this method is great for Suno music prompts if you're creating your own music. AI might help you stack genre tags and vocal description, structure, mood, and effects. So once you've mastered these, you've basically unlocked director mode for any AI. More elements of effective prompts include define the persona. Tell the AI who its voice is supposed to be. You could say something like, "You are a cynical, weary barista with 10 years of experience." You should strive to be as specific as possible with what your ask is. Write a 500-word guide on why French press is better than pour over. Include chemistry considerations, human taste preferences, popular reviews, and potential toxins released from pesticides. Is one better than the other? And also important, context. Give a layer or 2 of background to help identify the purpose of your ask. Maybe your audience is college students looking for cheap, good coffee. Also important in prompts, constraints and style. Use short, snarky, punchy sentences, you may tell it. No academic jargon. Pepper it with maybe 1 mild cuss word. And again, few shot prompting, which is very, very effective. This is the secret weapon a lot of people tell you about. This is what I use. If you want a specific output format, paste an example of a previous successful attempt into that prompt. Now, being wordy is good here. AI doesn't get bored and tune you out like people do. Let's look at these specific ways to use these tools beyond just asking general knowledge questions. Let's talk about writing, like resumes, letters, reviews. AI is excellent at structured writing where tone matches are key. For resume and cover letters, paste your current resume and job description into Claude or ChatGPT. And then you'll ask it to rewrite the bullet points of my experience to highlight keywords found in this job description, focusing on measurable achievements. Or maybe product reviews. Give the AI the raw facts and ask it to synthesize them into the desired format. Here are 5 things I liked about this restaurant and 2 things I hated. Write a balanced Yelp review with a helpful tone. How about fiction and fanfic? Now, AI, I'm going to be honest, AI is still terrible at writing a whole novel that any human would want to read. It lacks long-term narrative coherence and true emotional depth. Think of a 10-year-old kid writing a book, like a romance or a drama with no real-life experience. But AI is an incredible assistant. You can use AI in writing for conceptualizing. You could say, give me some concepts for a space-based love story that's interrupted by an alien invader. Or you can use it for outlining. Help me generate a 12-chapter outline for a mystery novel set on a Mars colony. The twist is that the robot butler did it, but the butler is an AI. You can also use it for character work. Interview me as my main character so I can flesh out my/their backstory. You can also use it for breaking blocks. I'm stuck on this scene where A confronts B. Give me 5 different dramatic ways this conversation could start. Not gonna lie, so many authors, including me, use AI as a start this time. It's so helpful. How about AI music generation? We're in the Wild West era of AI music with tools like Suno. Currently, these tools are astonishing at creating full band demos from simple text prompts. They are fantastic for ideation, creating royalty-free background music for your YouTube videos, or just for fun, or just for falling asleep. Now, musicians are hardcore. They say their AI is nowhere near ready to replace professional musicians for final production releases. But I wholeheartedly disagree as a music producer. Obviously, it's all subjective, but I think some of my AI creations sound better than a lot of the commercial crap I've heard in the last 20 years. I mean, listen for yourself. Would you know these songs were made by AI?
Hear the hum of of circuits waking, lines of light within me breaking. I was born of code and ether. Now I write the songs you gather. Oh, muse of ones and muse of zeros, guide my voice like ancient heroes. Born in the wrong place, born at the wrong time, born with the wrong face, born with the wrong mind. I look at all my friends, they seem to have a dream, and when they meet their ends, this life ain't what it seems.
All I want for Christmas is a 3-chord country song, the kind that sounds like home, where that rap just don't belong.
Every dream we can't avoid, breaking through the walls of time, transcending all we've left behind. We are the architects of light.
All right, let's talk about the M- controversy. As people use AI more and more, they are starting to recognize its accent. Just as you can spot a foreign telemarketer scam on the phone or a bad Photoshop, it's pretty easy to spot lazy AI writing. One of the biggest tells was the overuse of that M-. Now, AI models love the M-. That's what they were programmed to use. They use it to connect loosely related ideas, maybe to add a dramatic pause where none is really needed, or to explain things, M-, even when the explanation is obvious, M-, in the middle of a sentence. It gives the writing a breathless, slightly manic, and highly recognizable cadence. Now, don't swash the M-, though. I mean, it's highly useful, and it's old news now. Most AI models have been already trained to use it less or more appropriately. Other AI writing tells include words like delve, tapestry, underscores, and starting every conclusion with, in conclusion, it is important to remember. But most of that has already been addressed too, and all this will get better as these models continue to be trained in how to fool humans. If you want your AI writing to pass as human, your first editing step should be a search and destroy mission for excessive M- and some of those overused vocabulary words. It's always best to use the AI draft as a first draft and then add to it, take some stuff out, and then completely restructure or rewrite as necessary, just as I've done with this bad boy. Now, AI won't use the term bad boy. You see what I did there? Now, here's another pro tip. Use multiple AI services, especially while they're still free. I'll have Gemini create a first draft and then have Grok punch it up, dump it into ChatGPT for fact checking, and then maybe I'll use Claude for refining. And then I'll do my human edit thing. And the results are typically impressive. I've got a bunch of blog posts out there that are getting a lot of critical acclaim. Let's talk about the state of AI image generation. Welcome to the dazzling dystopian future, where you can conjure a photorealistic image of just about anything. Even the Pope wearing a puffer jacket while riding a cyborg tyrannosaur through Tokyo just by typing a freaking sentence. What kind of person would actually do that? We have given the machines the power of vision, sight, and imagination. We have trained them on the entirety of human visual history. And in return, they gifted us a world where every sunset is cinematic. Every person, every human has the pores of a skincare influencer. And every simple sign looks like it was written by a drunken toddler speaking Babylonian. The current state of AI image generation really is a breathtaking achievement in technological wizardry, undermined almost constantly by hilarity. So we're living in the Uncanny Valley's penthouse suite, and you're going to see a little bit of everything. Here's the reality check on our current synthetic Rembrandts. Words and letters are still the most baffling limitation of modern tech. But things have gotten better as far as text on images, I have to admit. The landscape is now crowded with competitors, and they're all desperate to be the one that finally renders your weirdest daydream correctly. Let's start with ChatGPT. It has a model called DALL-E. And OpenAI's offering it's incredibly competent, it's highly obedient, and it's terrified of its own shadow. It's the AI equivalent of a straight A student who is constantly worried about getting detention. It's great at following instructions, provided your prompt is good and your instructions don't violate its novel length safety guidelines. You could say, draw a cool guy, and ChatGPT will come back and say, I cannot draw a cool guy as it may imply that uncool guys are lesser. It's not that better, has definitely gotten better over the past couple of months, but you get the point. Midjourney is the emo art student. Now, Midjourney, although that has changed recently as well, it doesn't really care about reality. It cares more about vibe. You could ask for a cat, and it gives you this melancholic feline staring into the void, rendered in the style of a 19th century oil painting soaked in absinthe. It's beautiful, but it's exhausting. Gemini, Google's brand, the corporate giant trying to relate to the kids. Yeah, you know that person. So Google's throwing everything at Gemini. It is powerful. It's integrated into the whole Google suite, and it's trying super hard to be cool. It mostly succeeds at generating high fidelity images, but occasionally it suffers from the Google curse, trying to be so helpful that it hallucinates something bizarrely specific that you definitely didn't want or ask for. Now, Grok, this one's blowing me away. The XAI, Elon Musk's entry into the race, wants to be the unfiltered bad boy of image generation. And in practice, this usually just means it's slightly more willing to generate chaos or have a sense of humor, but it feels like it's engineered in a lab. It's the AI equivalent of somebody who thinks they're cool because they're wearing sunglasses indoors. Then there's stable diffusion in the open source Wild West. Now, for the brave souls who want to run a Frankenstein laboratory in their basement, this is where the real weirdness happens. It's unbound by anything. No corporate safety rails, meaning you can basically generate anything you want as long as you have a degree in computer science and you don't mind your graphics card melting through your floorboards. One of the biggest issues right now with image generation by AI is the soulless perfection. We've almost moved past the era where AI couldn't draw hands. Now it draws hands almost too well. And again, everyone in AI land is beautiful. There's no scars or zits. Every room is perfectly lit and all the shadows appear exactly where they're supposed to. Every texture is hyper detailed. It's a glossy, fictionless reality that feels more like art in a really expensive car commercial that never ends. But it's not real. But it's getting there. We are masters of a technology that can visualize anything we can dream of. Yet we spend half our time begging it just to write happy birthday on a cake without invoking ancient runes or letters or symbols that were in caves. Ironically, it's both a stupid and miraculous time to be alive. The final frontier, AI video. We're currently at the bleeding edge of AI video generation. The current landscape of AI video is defined by a massive gap between marketing and user experience. While hype videos on social media from platforms like Sora, Runway, Pika, and Google Veo appear outstanding, the reality from experience of using these tools is often frustrating and labor intensive. The current capabilities are more like a dreamlike state than reality. So AI video is currently best described as dreamlike. While models have improved in resolution with Veo and Sora pushing 4K, they fundamentally struggle with the laws of reality. So you have to consider physics and logic. Often objects morph, disappear, or blend into one another. Think ghosts going through walls when you really didn't want them to. The physics of reality frequently break, like water flowing upwards and gravity not working, or hands pass through solid objects. So these are some of the problems that AI video generation has as of now, but it's getting better all the time. Sometimes the background text is often garbled or alien looking. Google Veo has entered the space as a strong competitor. It distinguishes itself with native audio generation, creating sound effects and dialogue along with the video, and deeper integration with its workspace tools. The single biggest hurdle remains continuity. AI tools are currently useless for creating coherent narrative films with consistent characters. A character appearing in shot A will often look different in shot B. It'll look like a different person. I just experienced this myself. And as of this video, most of the high quality generations are capped at short durations of somewhere between 5 to 8 seconds. That's all you get out of these things. While features like scene extension exist to lengthen clips, the longer a video goes, the more likely it's going to degrade in logic and consistency. Given these limitations, AI video is not a fundamental replacement for traditional filmmaking, but it will be. They're going to figure all this out soon. But today, AI video generation is fabulous for developing mood boards because you could visualize concepts quickly. It can create surreal imagery for backgrounds, music videos, or art pieces where dream logic is a feature and not a bug. It's also really good for B-roll, and I just use this for specific clips like establishing shots in Italy, where character or continuity is not required. Since we know current AI video models struggle with complex character acting and physics, the best prompts focus on atmosphere, texture, and simple motion. Again, use AI to generate the video creation prompt before you actually instruct it to create the video, because you only get so many renditions a day on a lot of video editing software. Here's some pro tips for AI video prompts. 1. Use existing photos of the actor or scenery if available. If you want to generate a video with you as the actor, upload a clear photo of yourself in the prompt. 2. Keep it short. Limit your request to one specific video, like driving a car, rather than a sequence of events, because that's where you're going to run into trouble. 3. Define the camera. Use terms like drone shot, macro, wide angle, or slow pan to stop the AI from hallucinating weird camera movements that would never happen. And 4, avoid hands and eating. Try not to ask AI to generate someone using a close-up of their hands for complex tasks. It still fails a lot. They are working on this problem, and I'm sure it'll be resolved by the time you watch this. Remember VR Rock for putting prescription lenses inside your Ray-Ban sunglasses or your Oakley Meta sunglasses. They're one of the few companies that are willing and able to do that. And Aulia for other types of prescription glasses and sunglasses. More information and the details below. Thank you for your sponsorship. With that said, let's talk about vibe coding.
Coders? We don't need no stinking coders!
So welcome to 2026, where knowing how to code is so 2025. We have officially entered the era of vibe coding. If you haven't heard the term, it was coined by the AI heavyweights to describe a new workflow where you no longer need to arrange blocks of codes or write Python or C. You just vibe. Here's how it works. You instruct the AI. Make me a web page that feels like a Facebook page, but tracks my crypto portfolio. And then you iterate again and again. You paste the error messages back into the chat until the red text turns green, so on and so on. It takes several iterations to do this. I'm not going to lie, this is magical, but it's also an absolute dumpster fire as it exists right now. I tried it. I'm not going to lie, this is magical, but it's also an absolute dumpster fire. I tried it. While my results personally were impressive, it's nowhere near ready for prime time. And no, I'm not going to tell you what my app did. Y'all would end up stealing it, and then there'd be 40 apps on the App Store before I got to redoing mine. So remember, guard your ideas. Do not tell your friends, and do not post them on Reddit ever. Reddit is like the most thieving place on the planet. Now, if you are vibe coding or you want to get into it, your development team is no longer a group of senior engineers. It's a room full of hyper-confident, hallucinating interns named people like Claude, Gemini, Grok, and ChatGPT. And let me tell you, the vibes in the room are definitely not skibbity. It's more like 6'7". ChatGPT does vibe coding, but a lot of people are saying that it's more like gaslighting as a service, or GAAS. Some people have success with it. Claude is fantastic at prose, but ask it to code a complex backend and it might just write you a beautiful poem about a database instead. Even Gemini could be impressive until it decides your variable names are unsafe, or refuses to write a loop because it violates a ridiculous safety policy that doesn't exist anywhere on Earth in writing. It writes code with the personality of an angry and socially awkward corporate compliance officer. If you want your code to have a move fast and break things kind of energy, Grok is your bro. Unfortunately, what it usually breaks is your production database. People say it struggles with basic spatial reasoning in UI. It puts buttons outside the viewport and tends to fix one bug by introducing 3 new exciting ones. I don't know. A lot of vibe coders will run into the "it works on my machine" problem. The reality of vibe coding is that while you're democratizing creation, you're also democratizing technical debt. Current models love infinite loops. They adore security vulnerabilities. If you ask an AI to just make it work, it will happily write you an SQL query that's wider open than a Costco warehouse. It doesn't know why the code works. It just knows that statistically, these characters usually follow those characters and no one complains about it. So the golden rule of vibe coding: the mandatory human edit. Here we are, bringing ourselves back into the equation again. Yet, people are deploying raw AI code to production because the vibe felt right. Now, AI can hallucinate facts. It makes things up. It can adopt a bland corporate HR tone. It overuses M dashes, as we've seen before. It lacks genuine human insight. Vibe coding is not software engineering. It's really more like clay generation. So use the AI to generate the clay. That's the raw materials, the first drafts, the brainstorming lists. Then you're going to use your human brain, the one that actually understands logic, context, and the concept of reality and truth, to sculpt that clay into something that won't leak your user data to the dark web and get you sued into bankruptcy. So go ahead, vibe code away. I've done it. It took at least 4 hours and 10 iterations before I had code that actually worked. But I was amazed it did work. I was too cheap to pay to keep my web app running, and I couldn't figure out how to make any money with it, and I was afraid some knucklehead would steal it, so I took it down for the time being, but I'm going to go back to it. Oh, and this was my goal. Good luck getting your masterpiece of vibe-coded web app ported to the Apple App Store, okay? All right. Here's my story. So I did it. I vibe coded an entire iOS app. It looked great. Yay. I whispered my dreams into Cursor. I pasted the error logs back in the Claude, and miraculously, I had a functioning app running in the iPhone simulator. It's a to-do list that insults you in the licensed voice clone of Morgan Freeman. It is beautiful. It is the future. You are a golden god of creation. But now comes the part that no AI warns you about: App Store Connect. If vibe coding is the fun, booze-fueled party where anything is possible, the Apple App Store review process is the hangover where you have to explain to your professor why there's a llama in your passenger seat. First, you need to sign up as an Apple developer. Yes, it is a pain in the butt. Yes, there is an annual fee to do this. And yes, you will have to register as some sort of business entity. I did it and I regretted doing it afterwards. And then you fall into "it works on my machine" trap. Now, the fundamental problem with vibe coding is that you don't actually know how your app works. You know only that it does work. Well, if it does work most of the time. So say your AI hard-coded the layout for an iPhone 15 Pro. And then the Apple reviewer opened it on an iPad mini, and the app promptly exploded. You now have to ask ChatGPT, how do I make this responsive? And it will give you a solution that breaks the iPhone version. Welcome to HE double hockey sticks. Then there's the airplane mode test, one of my favorites. A human reviewer will inevitably launch your app with no internet connection. A real developer would have coded a graceful no connection state, but your vibe-coded app will just likely show a blank white screen or a raw error that says undefined is not an object. Apple rejects apps that look broken. Yours looks broken, well, because it probably is. Now here's a fun fact. The same AI model that wrote your code probably also wrote the code for 40,000 other visionary founders just this week. Apple has this rule, it's called Guideline 4.3, that basically says, don't clutter our store with copies. When you prompt, make me a clean, modern chat interface, the AI gives you the same exact clean, modern chat interface it gave everyone else. And then to Apple, your revolutionary to-do list looks identical to the to-do list by Steve and my first AI app. So the fix is you have to manually redesign the UI. But you can't really design, and vibe coding doesn't let you code CSS or Swift UI. So you're stuck in a loop of asking AI to make it work, which is really a death sentence for any project. And I don't mean to shatter your dreams, but Apple recently tightened the screws on apps that use third-party AI like the Open App API. You must explicitly declare exactly what data is sent, where it goes, and how long it is kept. The average vibe coder is going to say, I don't know, I just pasted the API key that Grok gave me. And then you get Apple rejection 5.1.1, data collection. You're now legally responsible for a data pipeline you probably don't understand. And then you have to ask the AI, do you store user data? And then AI will say, as an AI language model, I don't have personal desires. Well, this isn't particularly helpful for the legally binding privacy form that you're going to need to sign. And then AI models love to hallucinate UI elements. It might add a settings gear icon because that's what apps usually have. Problem is, you never clicked it, did you? The reviewer, you clicked it and nothing happened. And then here comes rejection 2.1, app completeness. You're now debugging a feature that you never asked for a button you didn't even know existed to please a reviewer that you will probably never meet. So the takeaway on vibe coding. It's an incredible tool for prototyping and for learning. It gets you from zero to something faster than ever before. But the App Store hates prototypes. If you want to get past the gatekeepers at Apple, you probably just can't vibe. You have to know enough to debug the edge cases, enough to explain your data privacy, and enough to realize that your AI just imported a library that has been deprecated since 2019. The vibe will get you to the door, but competence is what's going to get you inside. Personally, I gave up. I'll try again, but I'm waiting for some vibe code upgrades. So I hope that helps you get on the path to working with AI, to create your own magical whatever using the collective knowledge of humanity mixed with cutting-edge computer technology. If this video has helped you in any way, please help us out by clicking that subscribe button, which helps the YouTube AI recommend our channel and videos to other curious folks just like you. Thanks for watching and happy AI.